What's up, everybody? Brian Tong here, and yes, this is still the iPhone 16 Pro that I'm rocking with, and of course, the biggest new feature is camera control, but I think that after using it for a few weeks, we should talk about it more because the best way, just like you saw in the title of this video, the camera control is good, but not great, and we're going to talk about maybe some of the things it needs to do to be better and maybe be more useful beyond just kind of a quick jump into the camera app, right? So one of the first things is when I experienced this, the touch sensitivity on this button, all right? Now, when you click it and launch the camera, it's, that feeling is great. But once you start getting into the actual minutia of scrolling this left and right, whether you're zooming into a picture, that actually feels the most responsive and natural. But when you start doing the little double tap and then swapping between the different functions, whether it's exposure or zoom or cameras, that's where it gets a little more finicky, a little more sensitive, where sometimes you do maybe even a half swipe and you think it's gonna move over to the next function and it doesn't, and you attempt to do it again. It's not as consistent and it doesn't feel as granular and specific as you would expect or want. So I think that one of the things that they can do is just improve the touch sensitivity, specifically when you're bouncing between the different functions, to make that feel more natural and more useful. The other thing about this button, I think that a lot of people are talking about, and you definitely did feel it the first time around, is the location of the button. So, right, we have the camera control button right here, but what happens is when you turn it sideways, your finger kind of naturally rests right a little closer to the bottom of the corner, right? In fact, I have to actually move my finger all the way over here and almost slide my finger position over a little, covering the screen a little bit to then reach it. And quite honestly, it feels a little unnatural. Now, I do actually get the logic behind why Apple put this button where they did. A lot of us are using vertical video. My thumb is really in the perfect sweet spot for it. When we're talking about taking vertical video, I hit it, it's right there, boom. Maybe even when I'm holding it this way, I hit it and then I turn it landscape mode, then I have to adjust my finger. But I think one solution for this is either they can scoot it down a little more, or quite honestly, if there is space in this phone, make this sensor a little bigger, make this button physically a little bigger, so then I can still do some of this control down on this edge instead of having to reach all the way over here. Just basically make the button longer. Now, another thing that I noticed in here is when you're looking at all these different functions, I talked about how you have exposure and depth of field and zoom and switching between cameras. I think that Apple should actually reduce some of these functions, because you have things like the different photographic styles and you have the different tones. I think when you start getting beyond actual camera functions and more like camera style stuff, that is something that maybe a lot of us would rather prefer to play with in post than in the moment. And it also maybe reduces the number of functions you jump to and simplifies it and allows them to maybe make it a little more sensitive. So I would argue that maybe one of the things that they can do to also make the camera control better is to reduce the amount of different functions you have. You've seen apps like Howlite. They just released their version of their camera app that has access to camera control. I think they only put maybe 3 or 4 functions top. So maybe kind of stick to what Apple's done, simplify what they offer from the camera control button to then simplify the experience and make it a little more enjoyable. So those are some things that I think can make it better.
All right, let's take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video, ESR. ESR is a leading brand of mobile accessories, from cases to chargers, and I've got some literally cool MagSafe accessories from them to show off to you. Check out the ESR Qi 2 MagSafe battery with kickstand and 5,000 milliampere hours. This is one of the slimmest packs you'll find, only 15.5 millimeters thick, which is about 40% slimmer than the competition. It supports up to 15 watts for fast MagSafe charging and keeps it cool with ESR's own sensors and algorithms. You'll be able to get around an 80% charge in 2.5 hours for iPhones that support 15-watt wireless charging. The kickstand is just the icing on the cake with a pack this thin, and it allows you to use it for both portrait and landscape view. It has a powerful magnetic grip that won't let go, and it comes in a variety of colors. But thin is in, and this is a great battery pack on the go. Next up is the ESR 3-in-1 MagSafe charger with Qi 2 and Cryo Boost. That's right, this minimalist stand charged an iPhone, Apple Watch, and AirPods that support wireless charging all in one. It has the fastest 15-watt MagSafe charging on a stand, and a 15 Pro Max fully charges in 2 hours, which is at least 30 minutes less than the competition. CryoBoost cooling is a patented ESR technology that uses an advanced cooling fan to dissipate heat for optimal faster charging, and it's even quieter now at less than a whisper. This also supports faster Apple certified Apple Watch charging at the top here behind the phone charger. Put your AirPods on the bottom, and this is an affordable stand that does everything. And finally, check out the ESR MagSafe car charger with Qi 2 and Cryo Boost. It has all the key features you expect from ESR: fast 15-watt MagSafe charging, Cryo Boost cooling, a stronger magnetic grip, and a clever dual mounting choice to either clip it to a vent or secure it to a dash. So level up your accessories with their Cryo Boost technology to provide a better MagSafe experience. You can search for ESR MagSafe on Amazon. Okay, let's get back to the video.
Now, one thing a lot of people aren't talking about is some of the magic stuff that you can do here in the settings. All right, so let's jump in the settings here. And what I'm gonna do here is actually scroll down and find accessibility. So we're gonna click that. And in accessibility, you'll actually see there's a specific option here for camera control. So we're gonna click on that. And here you have different kind of adjustments that you can make with camera control. First of all, obviously, I can choose to have the camera control button turn on or off. We're gonna leave that there. But one of the things here are controls gesture. So normally you do a light press to bring up some of the functionality. Here you can either make it a light press or a light swipe. So this is a setting that you can change. It's really playing around with the touch sensitivity of that button. And then even here, light press force. So remember, you do like a double tap to bring up some of the menus. You can make it either a lighter press or something a little firmer, because when I first used it, I kind of had to feel it out to be like, oh, what is the proper force that you use to bring up the menus? Here, you might be able to have a lighter press, might make sense to you and is what you want. I actually prefer the lighter press, so we're gonna keep that there. And then here, the double light press speed. Okay, so this is the speed or the rate that you hit the double tap. Is it a slower, deliberate one, or is it a quick tap, or is it just the default that's kind of somewhere in the middle? You can also change that as well. So you have a lot of different ways that you can play with the camera controls by jumping into the settings and then accessibility. We're gonna jump over here a little bit to action button, because it naturally makes me think, okay, they did all these granular controls with the camera control through accessibility. Clearly, they can do things in software to give this action button more functionality. Back in the 15 Pro, I asked one of my criticisms, let us do more than one thing. Let us do a double tap, a triple tap, right? You have a long hold, but this can do so much more and become more useful and make the phone better. That's all software. It's not hardware. And to make this a more appealing product and just more versatile, Apple, I'll ask you again for the second year in a row, let's give the action button some more functionality. In my review of the iPhone 16 Pro, I did recommend who would be the best candidate to get it, right? 12 Pro, I was said strongly I would recommend. 13 Pro, you're probably still good. You like your camera, your battery is great. If it still is, there's no need to really make a major upgrade. 14 Pro, I'd say maybe you should chill out. 15 Pro, you're okay. Cool down, right? The biggest thing that we hope for this phone to come is Apple Intelligence. That's still not fully fleshed out, and honestly likely won't be completely fleshed out beyond beta until next year. But just want to give you some suggestions of how camera control can be better. We're not going to be here and complain about it and not actually offer solutions. We're here to give you actual solutions that are thoughtful, coming from the brain. So camera control, good, not great, and can get a lot better.